The best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. That means whenever we are doing a task we like to do and we think that it is worth doing and it has correct difficulty as well, it's not too easy, not too hard, our mind and body gets to a state where we really enjoy doing the task, and it is the best way to actually achieve your goals and dreams and desires that you have from your life. So in this episode of the podcast, I will share 7 ways you can get into the flow state very easily. So let's get started. The point number 1 is remove external distraction. Every time we work, we think that we can keep our phones nearby. We think that anyone can disturb us. We do not put that do not disturb sign in our room when we are actually doing a task that is relevant for our life. And we do not care, right? We think that, okay, we are available at that time. But whenever you're doing any sort of deep work, like which requires your attention, so when you really want to get into a flow state, you need to remove this kind of external distractions, right? You can't really say that people can disturb me at that time. Suppose you have given yourself a slot of 20 to 25 minutes to work on. Do not disturb yourself, not by others, not by yourself also. And once we are done, we come to the second point, which is called internal distraction. See, external distraction is not the only thing. Suppose you had a fight with your spouse, or maybe your mood is not really well. You can't really get into the flow state because you have these internal distractions on your mind. Whenever you are going to try to do something, this thing will come up to your mind over and over again, and overthinking will consume you. To deal with such kind of situation, you can meditate, you can take deep breaths, and the best advice I can give you is that do it tomorrow, because you are not ready to get into the flow state at least today. And the third thing is that if you don't have a clear goal that what the heck I want to do, you can't really get into the flow state. So make sure that you have a clear understanding or the outcome or the goal that is set on your mind, or you have written it down at least. But our goals consists of a lot of different things. But suppose you want to write an essay on a single topic, right? Now you're jumping off from different research paper to other research paper, right? In this case, you can't really get the most out of it. So decide at least one thing that what you want to cover on that essay. Cover that part and next move on to the other thing. In that case, you are not going to be distracted with multiple things. So choose the one thing that you want to do. But even after all this, there are some time in a day that you can't really focus, right? And it happens to all of us. And that brings us to our 5th point. It is called biological prime time. So you need to know that all the human beings have certain biological prime time. That means some people can work better in afternoon, some people can work better in morning, some people can work better in the night. So you need to understand that what's your biological prime time is, and it's very easy to find out. You know yourself better. You understand that at which point of time if you work, you can retain more information, and if you don't, you need to just keep trying all the time of the day and understand that, hey, at which point you can focus more, right? So you need to find out what's your biological prime time is, and at that point of time it's very easy to get into the flow state. So there is no distraction. You have clear goals, you have decided the one thing that you want to work, and you have found your biological prime time as well, right? But if you don't have this element, the 6th point, which is called balance challenge, you can't really get into the flow state. See, suppose you have decided to do a task, right? And this task is very easy for you. You're not going to get any interest to get into this task, right? And maybe think about it the opposite as well. That task is very challenging for you. You can't really get into the flow state, right? So you need a balance challenge where you are not really, that task is not easy for you, that task is not too hard for you as well, right? In that case, you can get into the flow state because your mind is going to really like that challenge, and it's going to come up with new ideas and stuff in your mind, and you can really enjoy this flow state. And the 7th point is the thing that I learned hard way. Stay hydrated, guys. To get into the flow state, you are doing deep work, like you are getting yourself into this zone for 1 hour, 2 hour, and 3-4 hours, right? In that case, you need to give yourself the water that your brain needs, because our brain needs water to rejuvenate yourself. If you really want to stay active on the flow state, I would say, right, you need to keep yourself hydrated. So you don't need to set a timer or something, but keep a mental note of it as well, because setting a timer, I felt that it is sort of like a distraction, that it's gonna ring on my phone and I need to take the bottle. Suppose I'm doing a task which I'm totally focused on, right? So every once in a while that you when you take a break for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, at that point, stay hydrated, drink water, right? So when you want to get into the flow state, do this, right? So let me summarize all the points for you. Remove any sort of external distractions that you have, notifications, people can't really disturb you. Put a D&D sign on your, room as well if you want to, right? And the second is that remove internal distractions as well. Third is have a clear goal that you want to do. And the fourth is decide at least one thing that you want to accomplish. The fifth is find your biological prime time and try to do the task at that time. Number 6 is give yourself a balanced challenge. If the task is not too easy for you, then the task should not be too hard for you as well. And the last point, and the point number 7, is stay hydrated. Keep yourself hydrated all the time. So that's it for today's podcast. If you like this podcast, don't forget to give 5 stars and don't forget to subscribe on this app as well. And if you have any message or query, we are ImpleBooks at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. So that's it for today. Have a good day.